It's 5 o'clock, and we are starting the special meeting, February 5th, 2026, of the Tehachapi Unified District Board of Trustees. First item is roll call. Ms. Barnes.
President Kaminsky,
Here.
Vice President Kelly,
Here.
Clerk Wood, here. Trustee Cooper,
Here.
Trustee Christensen,
Here.
Trustee Napier absent, Trustee Sweeney absent, Superintendent Bell,
Present.
and I'm Deanna Barnes.
Thank you, Ms. Barnes. Next item is flag salute and moment of silent reflection. It will be led by me, so please stand. Salute, pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the
Item 2, approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Kelly, make the motion.
second.
It was motion by Vice President Kelly, seconded by Trustee Cooper to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Public comments. The district welcomes comments from the public at appropriate times during the meeting. The public may address the board concerning items on the agenda as those items are taken up prior to board discussion and deliberation. The public may also address the board on items not on the agenda but within the jurisdiction of the board at the time designated. The board requests each speaker must fill out a speaker form at the beginning of the meeting stating the speaker's name, the subject to be addressed, and provide the form to the secretary of the board. Please wait to be recognized by the board president. Comments should be addressed to the board as a whole and not to individual members or district employees or to anyone in the audience. Unless otherwise determined by the board, individual speakers will be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda or non-agenda item, and the board will limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. It's Board Bylaw 9323. The board understands that the First Amendment provides strong protection for speech. However, the board expects that all speech and expression will comport with norms of civil behavior on district grounds, in district facilities, during district activities or events, and in the use of district electronic and digital systems and platforms. Civil behavior is polite, courteous, and reasonable behavior which is respectful to others and includes integrity, honesty, acceptance, timeliness, dependability, observance of laws and rules, and effective communication. That is from Board Bylaw 1313. First comment is from Jennifer Grigsby.
Good evening. I'm here tonight to be an advocate for our Frostoff High School sports programs that are on the chopping block. First off, I would like to bring up some discrepancies from the last board meeting that our president and another board member stated. It was said that those programs are being cut due to transportation. After speaking with Mr. Hojat today on the phone, he seemed to say they were being cut due to stipends and not transportation. But if the transportation reasoning is true, Frostoff teams never travel separately. They always travel with JV and our varsity, and with those numbers, they're always taking a bus. Now, sometimes varsity programs do come down later because they don't play till 5 or 6 p.m., but to save money, just let the varsity out and they can travel down early on the school buses with the Frostoff and JV teams instead of taking bands. I called the bus barn today and inquired, and some of their buses can hold up to 82 kids. They said that Comfortably for high school kids, they could fit up to 54 on a bus. With our 3 teams, even if each team carried 14 players, which is typically the max, that would still only be 42 kids plus possibly 6 coaches, would still only bring the numbers to 48. More than enough room for one bus to be going, which is going regardless if Frostoff is in it or not. Another thing that was stated towards the end of the meeting, which I knew was completely false, was that most other schools are cutting their Frostoff programs as well. I had a hard time believing this, so I called all of the schools that we will be playing in our league next year. I talked to their athletic departments, and turns out none of them are cutting their Frostoff teams. And in fact, most of the secretaries or directors that I talked to laughed and also made it a point in saying that they would never do that to their kids who want to play sports. Quite an embarrassing look for Tehachapi School District. My point for all of this is, why did our board members blatantly lie to us, and why did nobody do any research? It took me about 15 minutes today. Also, who put these absolute lies out there? We need these programs, and it would be detrimental to all of our athletes to cut them. I would also like to advocate for Ashley Lance. She's our athletic secretary. Talk about an absolute gem of a human, and who all of our athletes truly love. My daughter asked me to speak up for Ashley tonight, and I 100% agree. She runs that athletics department hands down. She keeps it going. She answers all questions. She gets back to parents and also deals with all the athletes. She does it all with grace and in a timely manner, which is always very impressive. All of our athletic teams will greatly struggle if Ashley is removed from her position. I would also like to advocate for Mrs. Westerby. Our seniors absolutely need her. They need her help and her guidance to get them to the next step after high school. She helps facilitate so many opportunities for these kids, financially and career-wise. It is our district's job to get these graduating seniors off on a good start, and Mrs. Westerby helps facilitate all of it. She is 100% needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Shandy Thompson.
Hey everybody, my name is Shandy Thompson. Everyone, this is for you guys, okay? So everyone, when you get home, pull up the YouTube meeting from January 20th, just less than 2 weeks ago. Go to hour 3, minute 36, and 23 seconds. I'm pretty sure it was Superintendent Bell that stated the possibility of cutting freshman sports and that it would save us around $18,000. Then he also stated immediately after that, you'll notice that there are many other school districts that are eliminating freshman squads. I thought to myself, okay, if we truly have a budget problem and our freshman teams won't be able to really play against anyone else, then I guess I understand the reasoning of cutting our freshman sports. But because I knew the history of this board and the lack of transparency, I decided to contact the schools that our freshman teams play against, just like what Jen did, which I'm just a mom. I literally don't have a job. I got a phone. It took me 15 minutes. They all said that they were not cutting them. So why in the world would our superintendent state that? The only purpose would be to gaslight us into thinking that this may be a reasonable budget cut. Well, that's a straight up lie. So if it's a budget issue, then fine. I can wrap my head around an actual fact, data. But we can't have our super and board gaslighting parents to get them to swallow these terrible cuts. I also saw on the reduction plan the board presented at the last meeting, you can also pull that up, eliminate freshman athletic team stipend transportation, and that it would save us $18,000. Well, what do you know? When I contacted the high school athletic program, they advised that not one person reached out to them before these proposed cuts to even inquire how much the freshman team's transportation actually cost. You know why? Because they cost zero. Not kidding. Like all you guys, call the athletic directors. I'll give you one example. There are 12 girls on the varsity volleyball team. There are 14 girls on the JV team. There are 14 girls on the fresh soft team. The varsity volleyball teams take vans. That leaves 14 girls, 14 JV girls on a whole bus. When I called the bus barn, they said their smallest bus fits 54 adults. So throwing 14 freshman soft volleyball players onto a bus with the JV team that's only 14 girls costs our transportation literally $0. Zero gas, no extra bus driver. Now, stipends are a different story. I get that. It costs roughly $10,000 for freshman soft coaches stipends. But then just say that. State facts. Once again, don't gaslight us. Don't make up weird numbers and just say things. I'm saying all this to encourage you parents. I may not know everything about everything. I surely don't. I can't hold this board accountable for things I don't know, but I know freshman sports, and you may know IEPs, and someone else may know about bullying, but if we all just hold this board accountable for what we may know or could find out, then our kids will be better for it. I also wanted to share all this today to prove to all of you that this board is still currently lying. Literally, the meeting was just 2 weeks ago, and they lied. So it's
Shandy,
still happening.
Shandy, I'm sorry, but your time's up.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Burgundy Clark.
All right. Good evening, board. I'm here tonight to urge you to please reconsider eliminating freshman sports. My name is Burgundy. I'm the parent of 2 high school students in the district who both play sports. Freshman sports are not just about athletics. They are not just about money. They directly shape how students adjust to high school. That's academically, socially, and emotionally. And I believe this decision was made without enough consideration for our children's futures and how it could impact them on a deeper level. I'll leave the numbers and logistics talk to the other parents. I'm here tonight to appeal to your hearts because that's what I do. Freshman year sets the tone. I don't know if you remember being a freshman or you've recently had a freshman, but it's so tough to be a freshman in high school. And it's also when students build habits from peer groups, decide whether school feels like a place they belong, and that's a huge deal. When freshmen are involved in sports, they start school with structure, accountability, and built-in connections. Coaches monitor grades. Teammates encourage each other to stay eligible, and routine support time management. I know this because both of my girls are high school sports, and they will text me weekly about their grades in Aries, and if their grades aren't up to par, they'll go to their teachers and advocate because coach is way scarier than mom. So it keeps them accountable. Students in extracurricular activities consistently show stronger academic performance, better attendance, higher engagement in school. That's also true because when I want to skip school after a doctor's appointment for Target, my kids are like, no, I have to be there 4 periods a day or coach won't let me start. So what happens when you take that away? Freshmen don't have access to these opportunities. They go home instead of staying connected. They're on their phones instead of fields and courts, and they don't form early peer bonds that carry throughout high school. Once friendship groups solidify, it becomes harder for students to find their place. A lot of teams like volleyball, baseball, softball are highly competitive, and a lot of the kids will not make a JV or varsity team. Fresh Soft is kind of where they land. It's where they learn all those skills, and they have something to look forward to, and it gives them a reason to come to school, and it gives them a reason to want to do well and have accountability for what they do. This doesn't just affect incoming freshmen either. It's the freshmen who got a Fresh Soft team, and now that's taken away, and they might not make the JV. So now they're in a limbo year where they lost all their peers because they didn't make a team. Suddenly a child who wanted to be a part of something might have found their passion, and they have the will to come to school every day, but they're being left out. Sports provide belonging, mentorship, identity. Being a part of a team gives a student a reason to show up. People notice if they're absent. Adults check in beyond the classroom. I know for my kids when they're absent, I love teachers, by the way, but it's the coaches who call me and text me and say, is your kid all right? Hey, I noticed they were off today in practice. Like, how's home life? Are they sleeping? Are they eating? Sports is life. So when we remove freshman sports, we're not just taking away games, we're taking away, or bus rides, we're taking away confidence, friendships, opportunities for students to feel like they matter at the exact moment in their freshman year when they're trying to decide if they fit in. If they don't find that their freshman year, it can set them up to fail. So I'm begging you to please reconsider. The benefits may not show up on a budget sheet, but they show up in our children, in their courage to try something new, in the friends they make, in the pride they feel when they belong, and how they want to do well in school when they feel a part of something. These are not small
Brittany, your
things.
time's up.
Thank
Sorry.
you.
So you're Bajorquez?
Hi everyone, I'm Sawyer Bajorquez and I attend JMS Middle School. The TUSD social workers are some of the best, nicest, most motivational people I've ever met. When I moved here and started at CVS Elementary School, I was dealing with the loss of 3 loved ones passing, and before I could make any friends, Mr. Hecker was helping me through grief. If you take away the positions of the social workers, it would negatively impact the mental health and growth of students, and not to mention the singular social worker going from kid to kid, helping with personal and emotional problems. I know the kids I know kids who have some of the same problems I've dealt with, and the social workers have helped them too. The kids in elementary school, middle school, high school all need some trusted adult to talk to about stress issues in their life. I started a club with Mr. Hecker in 4th grade called Feeling Friends. In the group, girls talked about their feelings, not just their problems. The school social workers have a huge impact on the everyday life of students in every grade. Taking away their jobs would be like taking candy from a baby. It'd be very sad. Mr. Hecker is very important to me and my family and to CVS. CVS needs Mr. Hecker just like JMS needs Mr. Colby. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Kelsey Bojorquez.
Hello, I'm going to start by reading something my 9-year-old wrote. This is called Save Mr. Hecker. Can we pause the timer if I cry? Mr. Hecker is so important to this school because what if a boy walks into Mrs. Brown's room but can talk better with someone who's like themselves? If Mr. Hecker wasn't here, who would give us the SEL sessions? Mr. Hecker gave me so much mental knowledge. If he got fired, someone might not get that knowledge. Mr. Hecker is one of the most important staff on this campus. If there is no one to talk to, the kids might grow negative thoughts. We do not want that. Mr. Hecker is one of the best people I have ever met, and I'd hate to see him go. So who's with me? Save Mr. Hecker. My name is Kelsey Bojorquez, and I'm here as a paraeducator from CVS and an extremely proud parent. That was my kiddo who just stood up in front of a room full of adults to fight for what's right. Well, that kind of confidence comes from within, and with the support of me and her dad, that also comes from our village of people. They say it takes a village to raise children, and I'm lucky enough to have one of my own. But there are several situations where students on campus have grown-ups without a village. Instead, they have a Mr. Hecker. Children deserve to be surrounded by people who light up when they walk into a room. Not only does Mr. Hecker provide a safe place for our kiddos, he himself is actual sunshine. He provides a calming presence. He provides love and kindness in all situations, big or small. He is always one radio call away from helping a student in need. My daughters were homeschooled until 4th and 2nd grade. Starting at CVS was an adjustment, to say the least. Mr. H made that adjustment easier on them both. And as a mom, my worried heart was reassured that they were in the best hands with Mr. H. He nurtures ideas and encourages children to be themselves and speak their minds and set goals for themselves. CVS needs an everyday, all-day social worker on campus to benefit the social, emotional needs of all students. His presence on campus is so important that I would joyfully quit my job tomorrow to free up the funds. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelsey. Peggy Martin.
First of all, I am not good at speaking, but my name is good evening, members of the board. Oh, what do I do here? Oh. Good evening, members of the board. My name is Peggy Martin. I've worked at Golden Hills School for approximately 27 years. Of those 27 years, 24 have been in intervention. And I'm not really here to speak for my job tonight. I'm here to speak for the kids I work with. Oh gosh, I'm going to get emotional. I'm here my kids that we work with are the most vulnerable kids. Their teachers in their classroom, because their class sizes are so big, they don't have the time, a lot of them don't have aides to work with these most vulnerable kids in our school. And those kids are going to fall through the cracks. And I'm just really upset that a school district would even think about cutting an intervention program Social workers, I mean, the money's, you guys have got to find the money from somewhere else. And like I said, I'm not here because I want my job. I'm here because I'm worried about my kids and I want them to get the very best. They deserve the very best. I have a little bit of proof. I don't have like numbers to show you guys, like, you know, how well our kids do, but we did this little, was kind of like a little thing for them over the winter when they were having their eye-ready diagnostics. We did this thing, and these are all of our low kids, the kids that are, you know, really need to come to us. And we did a little thing where we told them, if you bring your score up in eye-ready, we're going to have a little winter party for you guys. Every one of those students brought their scores up. There were maybe 2 that didn't. But every single kid, and we see probably 144 kids, so that's 144 kids who brought their scores up. So I'm just here because I worry about our kids, and I want the best for them, and I just worry that they're going to fall through the cracks, and there's not any other intervention programs. This is it, I mean, besides RSB. And well, thank you for listening.
Thank you, Peggy. Sandy Resendez.
Good evening, President Kaminsky, board members, and the Superintendent Bell. My name is Sandy Resendez. I am the CSEA chapter president. CSEA recognizes that voting on a reduction of force resolution is a serious and consequential decision. We are saddened by the loss of any classified staff member. Many ideas were shared at the last board meeting, and CSEA expects going forward to be an active partner in ongoing discussions and decision-making around cost-saving measures that can meaningfully reduce deficit spending and lessen future loss of classified positions. Continued collaboration is essential to ensuring fiscal stability while protecting the employees who support students and school sites every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Becky Sasha.
Let me try again. Good evening, members of the board, Superintendent Bell, to my colleagues and the public. I'm Becky Sasha. I'm the RTI teacher at Tompkins. I spoke so much last year, I didn't want you guys to think I'm not around anymore. I intentionally waited until the decision was made to show up and to speak because last year we were between superintendents when this decision was being made, and also all of these cuts were not being discussed. I've always advocated that if we were going to make cuts, that they were all carefully considered, which I think has happened. But I could not, in good faith, really advocate strongly for my program when so many classified positions were on the line. I see what they do every day. What they do is every bit as important as what we do in the RTI program. I do want to thank you guys for giving us that extra year. We have served 163 students faithfully, and the data has proved the success of that. So those kids that benefited for one more year of that program, that will show for the rest of their lives. As we move on from becoming financially stable, which Superintendent Bell, I can't imagine the pressure he's been under to make these decisions, because frankly, when we have to make budget cuts, there are things that have to go. But as we move on for that, I hope that our focus moving forward is staff and student safety. There are a lot of things, board, that are being overlooked. I think if you were to go through your email from a year ago, a year and a half ago, some of the same topics and would come across the email that we're struggling with now. I think our attendance challenges are great. I think kids, it's so much fun to compete for a crumble cookie, but I also think that it's the parents that really get these kids to school. And I think we need to restore their faith in our school system. I think that we need to gain their trust back, and that they will have those kids in our classrooms regardless if we give them sweets or not. So I really encourage and ask Superintendent Bell to take a look at what's being overlooked. And I ask the same from the board. Thank you so much, board.
Thank you, Becky. Jackie Wood. Now, since Jackie wished to speak and make a public comment, because board communication is not on the agenda, we said she could do this at public comment time.
I'm really nervous too. So I went away at our last board meeting, not feeling good for not speaking up about our previous superintendent, Stacey Larson Everson. I feel like she did a really good job. She got us through COVID, so many other things, stood by her staff when they had some really hard challenges. And I grew as a board member with her being the superintendent. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Jackie. The next item is consent agenda. In order to promote efficient meetings, the board may bundle a number of items and act upon them together by a single vote through the use of a consent agenda. Consent items shall be items of a routine nature and items for which board discussion is not anticipated and for which the superintendent recommends approval. When any board member requests the removal of an item from the consent agenda, the item shall be removed and given an individual consideration for action as a regular agenda item. Now, tonight we just have one item on the consent agenda. I might as well read it. Approval ratification of public employee appointment, certificated personnel report, job titles, vice principal, C, certificated personnel report. Does any trustee wish to pull that for more discussion? Do I have a motion to approve resolution number 01, or approve the consent agenda as presented?
Kelly, I make the motion.
Second.
There's motion by Vice President Kelly, seconded by Trustee Christensen. The board approve the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. New business, first read board policies. Superintendent Bill, did you want to make any comments about any of these?
Yeah, these first reads, just so everybody knows, these are updates that came straight from the state, and we're on a little bit of a crunch for the dialogue that's coming in. I've got to report back to the county that we've updated first and second read on these particular items.
Any trustee have a question or comment? Okay, item 6, discussion item. Number 1, discussion and possible action on resolution number 01 FEB26, reducing or eliminating certain certificated services for the 2026-2027 school year.
President Kaminsky, don't forget to read that bottom part on the executive content.
There has been a modification to the attachment. The adult education teacher position is being modified from the 1.0 FTE to 0.25 FTE reduction due to updated adult education revenue. Resolution. Please, we need you to not talk while the meeting's going on like this. Resolution number 01 FEB 26 to decrease the number of certificated employees due to reduction in particular kinds of services. Whereas Education Code Section 44955 permits the governing board to reduce or discontinue particular kinds of services not later than the beginning of the next school year. Whereas the governing board of the Tehachapi Unified School District, known as District, has determined that it shall be necessary to reduce or discontinue the following services of the district no later than the beginning of the 2026-2027 school year. Whereas it shall be necessary to terminate at the end of the 2025-2026 school year the employment of certain certificated employees of the district as a result of the reduction or discontinuance of the services. Whereas the governing board has considered all positively assured attrition, including all deaths, resignations, retirements, non-reelections, and other permanent vacancies for the 2026-27 school year, but for attrition already assured, the governing board has found it necessary to reduce additional services. And whereas the governing board has further determined that between employees who first rendered paid service to the district on the same date, the order of termination will be based solely on the needs of the district and students thereof. Therefore, be it resolved by the governing board of the Tehachapi Unified School District that the following services shall be reduced or discontinued no later than the beginning of the 2026-2027 school year. Particular kinds of services and the number of FTE. In regards to teachers, Pump It Up PE, 3.0 FTE. RTI teachers at Golden Hills and Tompkins, 2.0 FTE. Adult education teacher, 0.25 FTE. Title I JMS, part-time, 0.5. In management, coordinator of instructional support and improvement, 1.0 FTE. Learning directors, 2.0 FTE. Social workers, 4.0 FTE. Total FTE reductions, 12.75. Be it further resolved that the district may deviate from terminating certificated employees in order of seniority based on a specific need for personnel who possess special training and/or experience or competency necessary to teach specific courses or courses of study or to provide specific services, which others with more seniority do not possess, as follows. One, all certificated employees who currently possess, as of the date of this resolution, credentials authorizing services in regular and pre-K special education programs and services, including but not limited to adaptive physical education and speech-language pathology and/or speech-language services, excluding certificates of eligibility and/or intern eligible. 2, all certificated employees who currently possess, as of the date of this resolution, credentials authorizing bilingual instruction. Be it further resolved that the superintendent or his designated representative is directed to send appropriate notices to all employees whose positions may be lost by virtue of this action. Nothing herein shall be deemed to confer any status or rights upon temporary certificated employees or any other employee in addition to those specifically granted to such employees by statute. Be it further resolved that the superintendent or his designated representative is delegated the authority to take all actions necessary and proper to the accomplishment of the purposes of this resolution. And is there any discussion among the trustees? I will comment that nobody likes to reduce positions. Nobody on this board. And as I stated at the last board meeting, superintendent and his chief administrators, principals, they were in a lot of discussion. And our employee is Mr. Bell. And anyway, with that said, do I have a motion to approve the resolution?
Kelly makes a motion.
I'll second.
It was motioned by Vice President Kelly, seconded by Trustee Christensen to approve resolution number 01 FEB 26, reducing or eliminating certain certificated services for the 2026-2027 school year as presented. It's a roll call vote. Ms. Barnes.
President Kaminsky,
Aye.
Vice President Kelly,
Aye.
Clerk Wood,
Aye.
Trustee Cooper,
Aye.
Trustee Christensen,
Aye.
Trustee Napier absent, Trustee Sweeney absent.
Motion carries 5-0. Item 2, discussion and possible action on resolution number 02 FEB 26, determining seniority among certificated employees with same first paid date of service, tiebreaker resolution. Whereas the governing board anticipates that it will be necessary to reduce or eliminate certain particular kinds of services effective at the close of this school year, and whereas the governing board has determined that as between certificated employees who first rendered paid service to the district on the same date, certain criteria should be used in determining the order of termination of said employees, and whereas the determination of the order of termination is based solely upon the needs of the district and the students thereof. Now therefore be it resolved by the governing board of the Tehachapi Unified School District, 1, that each of the above recitals is true and correct. 2, the criteria used to determine the order of termination of certificated employees who first rendered paid service to the district on the same date shall be as follows and will be applied in the priority order indicated. A, CTC issued teaching and or special service credentials, authorizations, and certificates held, credentialing. B, bilingual cross-cultural language and academic development, BCLAD, certification. C, other types of authorization for instruction of English language learners besides BCLAD, including cross-cultural language and academic development, CCLAD, certification. D, special education needs. E, experience. F, training. G, competence. H, evaluations. I, extracurricular activities. Is there any discussion among the trustees on that resolution? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve resolution 02 FEB 26?
Kelly makes a motion.
I'll second.
It was motioned by Vice President Kelly, seconded by Trustee Cooper. The board approve resolution number 02 FEB 26, determination of seniority among certificated employees with same first paid date of service, tiebreaker resolution. Again, it's a roll call vote. Ms. Barnes.
President Kaminsky,
Aye.
Vice President Kelly,
Aye.
Clerk Wood,
Aye.
Trustee Cooper,
Aye.
Trustee Christensen,
Aye.
Trustee Napier absent, Trustee Sweeney absent.
Motion carries 5-0.
We need a verbal vote.
I'm sorry, what?
Did you do a verbal? Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes. I was trying to get ready for the next one. Motion carries 5-0. Number 3, discussion and possible action on resolution number 03 FEB 26, determination of order of employment for certificated employees for reduction or discontinuance of particular kinds of services. Whereas Education Code Section 44846 requires the governing board to establish the order of employment of certificated employees, and whereas the governing board has further determined that between employees who first rendered paid service in a probationary position to the district on the same date, the order of employment will be based solely on the needs of the district and the students thereof. Therefore, be it resolved by the governing board of the Tehachapi Unified School District that the seniority list attached hereto as Exhibit A is hereby adopted. Be it further resolved that the seniority list may be corrected from time to time by the superintendent or his designee based on valid evidence presented by any certificated employee of any change, and said corrected seniority list shall be valid absent further action by the governing board. Any discussion from the trustees? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve resolution number 03 FEB 26, determination of order of employment for certificated employees for reduction or discontinuance of particular kinds of services?
Kelly, make the motion.
I'll second.
It was motioned by Vice President Kelly and seconded by Trustee Cooper to approve the resolution number 01 FEB 26. Again, it's a roll call vote. Ms. Barnes?
President Kaminsky.
Aye.
Vice President Kelly.
Aye.
Clerk Wood.
Aye.
Trustee Cooper.
Aye.
Trustee Christensen.
Aye.
Trustee Napier absent. Trustee Sweeney absent.
Motion carries 5-0. Item 4, discussion and possible action on resolution number 04 FEB 26, reducing or eliminating certain classified positions due to lack of work or lack of funds for the 2026-2027 school year. Whereas due to lack of work and or lack of funds in the Tehachapi Unified School District, the Board of Education, Board, under the authority of Education Code Sections 45114, 45115, 45117, 45298, and 45308, and Article 16 of the collective bargaining agreement between the district and the California School Employees Association and its Chapter 466, hereby finds it necessary and in the best interest of the district to eliminate the following positions of the classified service as specified below. Custodian, FTE 3.88. Burst tutors, 2.06. Physical education paraprofessional, 2.44. Title I para, Golden Hills and JMS, 1.02. SPED administrative clerk, temporary, 1.0. Administrative clerk, technology, 1.0. Site technology technician, 1.0. Groundskeeper and utility maintenance, 1.0. Roving health clerk, 0.75 FTE. Administrative clerk athletics, 0.05 FTE. Instructional para RTI aide Tompkins, 0.75. Total 15.65. Now therefore be it resolved that for the ensuing year effective July 1st, 2026, the classified positions set forth shall be discontinued to the extent set forth above. Be it further resolved that no later than March 15th, 2026, the board and all affected permanent classified employees shall be given written notice by the superintendent or the superintendent's designee that it has been recommended that the notice be given to the employee, stating the reasons that the employee's services will not be required for the ensuing school year, and informing the employee of the employee's displacement rights, if any, and reemployment rights. Be it further resolved that nothing herein shall be deemed to confer any status or rights upon probationary classified employees or short-term or substitute employees as defined in Section 45103 unless specifically granted to such employees by law or by collective bargaining agreement. Be it further resolved that the superintendent or the superintendent's designee is authorized and directed to take any other actions necessary to effectuate the intent of this resolution. Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 04-FEB-26, reducing or eliminating certain classified positions due to lack of work or lack of funds for the 2026-2027 school year as presented?
Kelly, make the motion.
Were we supposed to do a discussion?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. You are correct.
My
Trustee
question,
Christensen, you have.
I got a question because I was talking with superintendent about this, and these are hours. Am I correct on that? Like where it says 3.88, are we cutting 3.88 hours, or are we cutting 3.88 people?
No, it's the position itself, right? So if it's a full position, it would be 1.0. And then if an employee is a part-time employee, it'd be a 0.5 or a 0.4. We have some 5-hour employees. That's like that 0.88 as it rounds out with some of the employees associated there.
Okay, so like where it says 3.88, we're cutting 3 positions plus another 1 or another 3/4 of a position.
In that case, we're cutting 2 roving custodial positions, and then we're transitioning 3 part-time custodial positions that came up as 1.88 full-time equivalent, and we'll be transitioning them to 8 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like the one that somebody had spoke about earlier, the admin clerk for the athletics is 0.75.
Correct.
That is a full position, or that?
It's not a full 8-hour position, right?
Oh, okay.
It's presently recorded inside of our position control as a 0.75 of a full-time equivalent position.
Okay. So basically, you're cutting their position, but it doesn't actually show as like a full 8-hour day or whatever. It's
right because they're presently not working an 8-hour day. Yes.
Okay.
Including the person running the program.
So, all right.
Love you, man.
All right.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the board? So is there a motion to approve resolution number 04-FEB-26, reducing or eliminating certain classified positions due to lack of work or lack of funds for the 2026-2027 school year as presented?
Kelly, make the motion.
No second.
It was motioned by Vice President Kelly, seconded by Trustee Cooper, that the board approve resolution number 04-FEB-26. Roll call vote, Ms. Barnes.
President Kaminsky.
Aye.
Vice President Kelly.
Aye.
Clerk Wood.
Aye.
Trustee Cooper.
Aye.
Trustee Christensen.
I'm going to say abstain.
There you go.
Motion carries 4-0 with 1 abstention. Roman numeral 7, public comments for closed session. There are 2 items. 1, public employee appointment, title interim vice principal, Government Code Section 54957. And 2, public employee performance evaluation, Government Code 54957, subdivision B. 1, title superintendent. Are there any comments for those items in closed session? Seeing none, at 5:50, we are adjourned to go into closed session.
I gotta go back to my desk, Ben. I made a mistake on something. I gotta fix it.
It is 6:37, and we are returning from closed session. There's nothing to report out on either item. And now we're at item Roman numeral 11, adjournment. We are adjourned at 6:38.